welcome back to our channel. The Dupree estate shimmered in the late summer heat, its manicured lawns and marble corridors barely concealing the turbulence simmering beneath. For the coming week, 5 days of carefully curated lives would unravel into chaos, each choice driving wedges deeper between lovers, families, and rivals. Danny and Andre, swept up in champagne-fueled laughter, leaned over the polished oak table of an exclusive restaurant. Their fingertips brushed as the napkin game unfolded, a childlike gesture masking an adult hunger for release. Danny drew the slip marked Vegas, and for a heartbeat, the world outside their corner booth ceased to exist. The word itself felt illicit, dangerous, and liberating. They toasted their impulsive decision, crystal flutes catching the candlelight. For Danny, Vegas was more than a vacation, it was rebellion against the suffocating expectations of the Dupree name. For Andre, it was an opening to pull Danny further away from her family's shadow. Their smiles glowed with the shared intoxication of freedom, but in the spaces between their words lay unspoken anxieties, secrets that Vegas would not erase, only amplify. Elsewhere, Martin sat stiffly in the living room he shared with Smitty. The two men, once inseparable, now hovered like strangers orbiting a dying star. The faint scent of bourbon lingered in the air as Smitty's gaze turned distant, nostalgic for the man he had once fallen in love with. Martin listened, jaw tight, aware that love remembered was not the same as love sustained. Their exchange unfolded with painful restraint, Smitty yearning for the warmth of a past version of Martin. Martin quietly bracing for the accusation that his love was no longer enough. The silence that followed was more cutting than any argument. It pressed on them both, reminding them that desire had shifted, grown restless, and perhaps sought out new corners of temptation. In the Hamilton home, Haley sank into the couch beside Tomas. The distance between them narrowed with every shared word, every subtle glance. Haley, always polished in public, revealed flashes of vulnerability now, her defenses lowering under Tomas's attentive presence. She leaned closer, fingers brushing his sleeve, savoring the thrill of danger that hummed between them. Tomas, no stranger to forbidden territory, welcomed the electricity. His smile was a quiet invitation, though he masked it beneath casual banter. For Haley, this was discovery, the uncharted territory of seeing Tomas not as an acquaintance but as a man who stirred something she had long buried. And then the doorway darkened. Bill entered, his expression stormy. He paused, drinking in the tableau of his wife and Tomas in intimate proximity. The muscles in his jaw tightened, and though he said nothing, the weight of his silent fury poisoned the room. Haley shifted uneasily, but the damage was done. The fracture lines in her marriage, invisible to outsiders, had just widened. The hotel suite glowed with muted light as Ted stumbled through the doorway. His shirt was untucked, his tie askew, and his body betrayed exhaustion mixed with disorientation. Waiting inside, Leslie reclined on the edge of the bed, her composure deliberate and predatory. She coaxed him forward with a smile that was equal parts tenderness and calculation, using his tie like a leash. Ted followed, helpless under the pull of Leslie's gravity. The moment was intoxicating, blurring the boundaries between choice and surrender. He was adrift, caught between shame and desire, unable to resist the dangerous comfort she offered. Their shadows merged in the half-light, the room filling with the quiet sound of surrender. The Dupree name, the Hamilton family, the Richardsons, none of it mattered within those walls. Yet outside, consequences gathered like a storm, waiting for the inevitable moment of exposure. At the Dupree mansion, Anita and Nicole clinked their glasses, the crystalline chime underscoring their pact. They spoke of conspiracies, of plots yet to be dismantled, of Leslie's tireless games. The two women shared not just wine but wariness, bound by a fragile alliance against a common adversary. Anita, matriarchal yet weary, saw through Leslie's polished facade, recognizing the hunger for control that lay beneath. Nicole, sharper and more reckless, relished the idea of outmaneuvering Leslie, though she underestimated just how far Leslie was willing to go. Their laughter carried through the halls, a brittle melody that masked the weight of their fears. Night fell over the city, and in the dim glow of another hotel room, Leslie and Ted lay together, their bodies still humming from forbidden intimacy. She curled against him with unsettling ease, her voice playful, her words a mockery of innocence. Ted, staring at the ceiling, fought the wave of guilt pressing down on him. For Leslie, this was not just an affair, it was conquest. She fed on control, savoring the way Ted's moral compass shattered under her touch. Each kiss, each whisper, tethered him more tightly to her will. For Ted, it was a spiral he could neither climb out of nor fully embrace. He was trapped, and Leslie knew it. But as the week pressed on, cracks deepened everywhere. Danny and Andre's Vegas trip sparked whispers within the Dupree family, drawing suspicion that Danny was slipping away from her obligations. Martin and Smitty's fragile truce collapsed into silence so suffocating that even their shared home felt hostile. Bill's anger simmered into obsession, his eyes now following Haley's every move, convinced her loyalties had shifted. Anita and Nicole's alliance hardened, both women digging through past betrayals, piecing together a strategy that could expose Leslie. Yet every plan seemed to crumble before it began, as if Leslie anticipated their moves before they acted. And Leslie herself, victorious in her seduction of Ted, began to plot her next maneuver. For her, the affair was not enough, it was a weapon. With Ted compromised, she held leverage over him, and by extension, influence over those closest to him. By Friday, the Dupree estate was a pressure cooker. Whispers of infidelity, betrayal, and disloyalty crackled like static in the air. Every shared glance carried suspicion, every silence carried meaning. Danny prepared for Vegas with a defiant sparkle in her eyes, but beneath it lingered the weight of a choice that could divide her family. Martin wrestled with Smitty's longing, uncertain whether love could be reignited or if it was time to let go. Bill, consumed by suspicion, hovered dangerously close to violence. And in the shadows, Leslie sharpened her smile, her latest triumph over Ted fueling a hunger for more. She thrived in the chaos, a puppeteer tugging strings no one else could see. Yet even she sensed that the storm she was conjuring might one day turn on her, devouring everything in its path. The week ended not with resolution but with escalation. The Dupree world, so carefully constructed, trembled on the brink. And as the credits rolled, one truth became clear: in Beyond the Gates, no secret remains buried forever, and no betrayal goes unpunished.